Talk about game of the week, right? Now this one's a doozy. Couple things happen. The obvious storylines of this game is not only Joey Aguilar, but Carson Wentz transferring from Georgia, committed to the draft, coming back out, committing to Georgia or committed to Miami. The rumors about his girlfriend goes there, all this other stuff, and that's the reason why he went there. Who knows? But I know Gunnar Stockton is stepping in his place, and that's been some very big shoes to fill, and rightfully so. I think, and we're starting to see it. Carson Beck was one of the most disrespected quarterbacks last year, and people just didn't understand the impact of what Carson had at Georgia while he was there, and that a lot of that deficiencies weren't his fault. But let's get into Tennessee first, because I think they're probably the most interesting. You think about their guys down there, Chris Brazell, Star Thomas coming over from Duke, who I think Duke probably misses him at this point in time, after their loss to Illinois last week, which I had Duke winning. And then Joey Aguilar coming over from App State, going to UCLA. Nico has his mix-up. Then he transfers to Tennessee, which I think is a petty move, but that's hilarious. I thought he was going to fit so well in Josh Heupel's kind of veer and shoot system, and it's kind of proven right? As far as the football power index from ESPN, Tennessee is inside the top 15 nationally with the 8th best odds of making the college football playoff in their 2-0 start, which is great. Tennessee's offense is ranked 2nd nationally in total yards per game, 605, and 9th in passing yards per game, 352 after just 2 weeks. I got a little nugget that I want to give you here for Tennessee's rushing game, which I think is very surprising. The rushing attack, which has typically been critical for the Vols' success. Dylan Sampson, Jalen Wright, those guys before him. They're ranked 26th right now in 252 rushing yards per game. The defense, they lost a couple weapons, including my man James Pierce down with the Falcons, but the advanced metrics view the defense as a major asset. The SP Plus rankings place the Tennessee Volunteers defense 4th nationally in preseason projections. Has it panned out? Yeah, it seems like it's panned out so far too. The Volunteers have a 23-0 record over the last 3 seasons when they rush for at least 185 yards. If that doesn't highlight the importance of their offense, I don't know what does. They lost Dylan Sampson. They gained Star Thomas. They lost, Nico. They gained Joey Aguilar, who has been the better quarterback by far this season. All right, let's get over to a little bit of Georgia. The Power Index had Georgia at the number 2 nationally at 26.6, only trailing Texas. But here's the thing about Gunnar Stockton. He's our starting quarterback. We talked about Carson Beck's departure. The quarterback performance of Gunnar Stockton through 2 games. He's produced 417 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. His total QBR is 82.1. Not bad, which is going to rank him around number 16 nationally. Here's where the concern is. The average depth of target has been low. 5.1 yards a carry. 62nd in the Power 4, which is not good. And Gunnar Stockton has not recorded one big-time throw in the opponents that he's played against this season, according to PFF. So, is this a conservative approach to the season so far? Is Mike Bobo not, in this offense, is he hesitant to pull the trigger until they play big teams? Is he keeping his cards close to his chest? Who knows? I just know Georgia has lost 4 starters on that offensive line, but has 4 guys that are coming in with starting experience that have come in here and there. So what we're going to see in this game is if the pass protection is going to be a little bit of a potential concern for Georgia. The overall efficiency of Georgia, they averaged 36.5 yards per game, 454 total yards per game through the first 2 weeks. And their third down conversion is a 44.8, which is, again, a concern of mine. This is a potential weakness so far, too, is their pass rush. 21.6 of its, they returned 21.6 of their pass rush efficiency from last year, losing Jalen Walker and the boys. And they've been losing that production just year after year after year. They go in and get 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝗀𝗀 from Army. And, a couple of those other guys have come back to fill in place. But here is where, we get a little bit more into the defensive efficiency of them. They've allowed 6.5 yards per game and limited opponents to 896 yards. They played Austin Peay, and they helped them pretty good. The Russian defense is stout. 2 yards per attempt as far as the running game's concerned. Their defense's opponent third down conversion rate has been at 20%, ranking them 14th nationally, which is really, really good. So where they lack in probably the sack production is where their biggest strength is going to be this year, along their linebacking core and how good they are stopping the run. And so that's where some of the concerns are. That's where some of the strengths are. But this is going to be a major test for Tennessee. I think Georgia presents a real threat because you just never know how they're going to prepare themselves. And it's just like we were saying with Nick Saban. We're not putting Nick Saban and Kirby Smart on the same pedestal just yet, or putting Kirby Smart on the same pedestal as Nick Saban. But again, the guy's been to multiple championships and knows how to win. They're giving Tennessee a 51.5% chance to win. I think that's about right. And a close victory for Tennessee at a 27-23 matchup. That's according to ESPN. Now, how I think about this game is if they can break the mold of running the ball really well against Georgia and Star Thomas having a couple big runs, that way Joey Aguilar can just dump it over the top and get those boys in good field position. I think that this is a 35-20 kind of contest, and people are looking at Tennessee a little bit differently and looking at Georgia a little bit differently. Look, it's hard to keep up with a lot of our production. I'm not saying that Gunnar Stockton's a bad quarterback, but going from Stetson Bennett to JT Daniels to having a bunch of those, Carson Beck waiting his turn, you can't have all these good quarterbacks and not meet a lull at some point. And I think maybe Gunnar Stockton, until proven otherwise, is maybe one of those guys that's going to put them in a lull for their season. So as far as the predictions are concerned, me and Don have Tennessee both winning this game.